Welcome YouTubers and Zoomers. We have some great Zoomers in the room tonight. You can't see them, but they are there. And we're going to do something that's going to allow us to really feel deeply. That's what I'm going to call it, maybe deep feels. Deep feels. Poses, these poses that are going to go a little bit longer than we normally do. And we're going to get a beautiful shavasana at the end. So if you've got your music, you know what to do. Get it started. And I'm going to show the first pose with a block because I think it'll be more informative. I hope so. But you can use a bolster. So I have a bolster behind me. And I'm going to pretend that this here is a wall. Well, it is a wall. And we're going to I'm going to have the block nearby. And the best way to do this is to go sideways. So one shoulder is against the wall. And then with your hands behind, just pivot on your butt. And then bring your legs up the wall. Oh, I can hardly wait for this. I'm wearing my socks because it just feels nice and cozy. So once you've got your legs up the wall, which is so great, then take your block, bend your knees, press the feet into the floor and lift your hips, and put the block right at your sacrum, and make sure that your buttocks, the glutes, are hanging on the wall side of your blocks. You'll know what I mean once you're there. So what we're doing is we're just recreating that lumbar shape. We're going to be here for a bit. If you need the other block because it just isn't feeling good on your head, I prefer not to use the other block, but you do whatever is going to make you feel comfortable. Your legs don't have to be straight. They don't have to be straight. Oh my goodness. I could just fall asleep right here. Your arms can be out, palms open to the ceiling. And then have a couple of sighs and groans and moans. And let it go. Let your day go, or if you're doing this practice in the morning, let all of your to-do list, you know the one, let that all be over there, and you are here on your mat taking this time for yourself. This practice is one where we're going to feel the bones move in our body. And it may feel like it's intense, but at the end, we are going to be rewarded. The beautiful shavasana. If having your legs up straight like mine is too much, then just bend your knees a little bit, but keep that pelvis, keep the buttocks going on the other side of your block. So you really are helping to recreate that lumbar curve. And you know when you see people walking and their heads, their backs are really round and the low back no longer has its little curve in it. It's very flat. And the result of having that very flat part is that your neck also becomes flat, and then your head becomes a heavy weight and your chest collapses. So we want to try to make sure that even though we're walking on planet Earth with gravity and a lot of our activities collapse our chest, flatten our low backs, that once in a while we get here on the mat and we can use gravity in a different way. And this is something that I would suggest whenever you feel that you'd like a little more energy, or you're feeling that the pelvis, I'm thinking of my friend Christy, our pelvises often go out of whack. This is a nice way to see if we can't use our legs the weight of our legs to get everything even. When we come out of this, as in any yin class, and this is like this is a yin class, we want to do it so mindfully. So we're going to bend our knees. It doesn't matter whether you go to the right or the left because it's your home, it's your mat. Keep your knees bent and you can roll off of your block or your bolster. Remember, you could have used the bolster as well. Just would be a little bit further into the room. So you're on your side, you're feeling your low back, you're feeling the tissues in a nice way. Use your fingertips and push yourself up to seated. We're going to use the wall again, and you can use a block or a bolster. So I'm going to use the bolster. Just put it in your nice comfy spot. I wore coordinated socks today. And what you'd like to do, we're going to use fire log legs, which means that you're going to cross your ankles over each other. So instead of doing lotus, if your body has more movement in the hips, then of course do lotus. Or you could do auspicious posture. So auspicious posture is heel, heel, belly button, nose. And that's a nice one because especially if you're on your bolster, you can allow those heavy legs to kind of travel down. Yeah. So we're going to be here for a little bit. You can see that it's Halloween week because I have my one little pumpkin, which is a little ceramic pumpkin in the corner for everyone to enjoy. We'll be holding this pose for quite a bit, but we'll be switching. So switching which foot is in front. I really actually enjoy using leaning against the wall. It's just like, I don't know, it's so comforting. It's like the wall is there for you and you don't have to use all the muscles to just be straight. You can have your hands on your knees, you can have your palms open to the ceiling, whatever feels good. You can even close your eyes here. We're not going to be rushing, so you won't have to look at me. I'll keep talking though. Yeah. I really like thinking, and certainly my practice over the years moved from a very yang practice. I still love a good flow, which is yangy. But I was not able, as I aged, to do the flow classes safely without the support of yin practices. So this has become a very important part of my practice. Every week there's we're doing at least 2 yin classes. And there's always some aspect of yin, even at the end of the flow, because we need all of that I think of it as moisture, lubrication into the joints, so they can do the best work that they can for us when we're walking and sitting and crouching and gardening and all the other things that we love to do. I'd like you to look down at your feet, and whatever foot is in front, I want you to switch. Oh, I bet you can feel it already. And it's nice to be elevated so that you can feel your pelvis moving forward and letting your legs do some of that work. You're probably feeling it deeply in your hip socket. I'm thinking, Hazel, you're really feeling it on the side that causes you some discomfort sometimes on your knees. And this is just an easy way to let that opening happen. Even though I encourage everyone to get on the floor when they're doing their Netflix binges. I'm not sure everybody does, but you know, if you have a nice little bolster, it's just so much easier. And you can just put in 10, 15 minutes of just sitting like this, which is so, so great for your hips. And your feet are doing nothing. You're not flexed. They're not doing anything unless you have pain in your knee, in which case maybe you have to reposition that foot and flex it on that side of that knee. Maybe. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling. Notice at the end of the exhale how you can feel your legs go a little heavier. So nice. So this sitting in a class, teachers will often use this as ways of opening, secret ways, and now you know my secret ways of opening up your hips prior to doing any sequence, even if it's a flow. Somehow this just anchors people, gets those hips organized, because you never know how people are coming to a class. You don't know if they've sat for the last 8 hours, lay down for the last 8 hours, or ran for way too long and then ran into your class, which sometimes happens. Actually, it happens often. Okay, so these legs. We're gonna take our hands, and if you're on your bolster, you just elongate your spine, and then bring one leg forward, the other leg forward, and just let your legs relax a little bit. I'm going to move onto my mat. It's just a little bit easier to see. You can move on your mat as well. Most of the rest of the things are not going to be involved with the wall. So we're going to do a very simple yin forward bend, which is often called a caterpillar. If you want to, be really super comfy, you could take your little bolster and make it very comfy in this way and use your block for your head. Or if you want to do it pure, you just let your arms come forward. And let your head, if your head becomes a little bit too heavy, then support it with the block. And let your arms be the thing that is opening up those tissues. And I'm noticing that I really need to pull the flesh back in order that I feel more of the bones, the sit bones, into the mat. So we're going to be here for a little bit. So do what you need to do to get comfortable, but also give yourself permission to use your toys to do whatever you need so that you do feel comfortable. But don't avoid some of those feelings, those deep feelings in those tissues. We want to feel them. We don't want to run away from them, because this is where this beautiful work happens. So thinking of your tissues as holding stuff, holding good or bad tension, holding your day, holding whatever, it's kind of good to let that stuff kind of move through your body. And the way that we can do it is we can really feel it. We can think about feeling it. And when we're feeling it, we can think about the inhale, and then, of course, the magical exhale that will release a little bit more of those tensions. And you can bring your arms forward if you'd like, palms open. Inhaling. Exhaling, letting something go. And if you're coming down a little bit further and you were using your block or your bolster, maybe you remove one of those things so that gravity can help you a little bit more. Now we want to use our fingertips. So I'd like you to press those fingertips into the floor. Now pull, we're going to go slowly here. Pull the forefingers towards the thumb. Your elbows are bent. Pull those forearms and the arms towards each other. Magnetize them. Walk up. Now I'd like you to actually engage your belly into the backbone. So belly button into the backbone. So you can feel how that talks to your low back. So we want that low belly to support the curve. And then you're just going to sit. You can remove your block. Dig your heels in, but don't flex your toes. Just have those bones, especially down into your sit bones. Really feel those like connect. Can you let them go down a little bit more? A little bit more. You know, we could sit here for like 5 more minutes and we would still feel them moving. Wow. The next thing, we've done this forward bend, and when we were against the wall, we did that fire log legs. We need to do a counter pose. So we're going to do tabletop. So you're going to bend your knees and bring your feet hip width apart. Then you bring your hands right underneath your shoulders, fingers towards the front of your mat. Now puff out your chest. So when you puff it out, you can feel your pelvis move as well. And then inhale into your chest, exhale, come on up into tabletop. Now look along your legs, don't drop your head. Pull the feet towards your hands. Press the fingertips into the floor. Pull the forearms and the arm bones towards each other. And keep lifting those hips. See if you can't equalize the weight. Maybe you just shift from left to right or from front and back. That you can feel the place where it's equal into all those 4 spots, your hands and your feet. Now, look at your pelvis, tuck the tail. You should feel that. And then slower than you want, bending your elbows. Slower than you want, pull the belly button to the backbone. Come all the way down. Whew. Pelvis comes down. Puff out your chest. Nice, 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 nice. And of course, the pose that often follows this, and I think it's perfect, and you can sit on a block for this one as well. I'm going to sit on one tonight. Soles of feet together, Baddha Konasana. I'd like you to start off with a elongated Baddha Konasana. So the legs go out as long as the soles of your feet are together. Now some of you may be on your bolster and you are using the blocks creatively by having your thighs on them, the ledge. It's like a little ledge. So again, see if you can't push your chest open and allow those legs. And that feeling of shakiness, where all of a sudden our legs are starting to shake, or when we move them to the next position, they're starting to shake. That's the good medicine. That's the good stuff. That means we've woken that connective tissue up. We've woken those muscles and the tendons, and we've allowed some more space. So this elongated Baddha Konasana, or cobbler's pose, or another name for it is butterfly pose. This looks more like a moth to me. Oh my goodness, so many spiders coming in with the fall. I found like 4 inside today. Anyway. can tell because they do their little spider webs very, very quickly. Getting ready. We're going to shorten our Baddha Konasana. You're going to bring your feet in as close as you can into your pelvis. And maybe you take your hands onto those ankles and straighten your arms, squish your armpits closed. Whoa, that should be a lot. My pants are stopping me from going a little deeper, so if that's the case for you, take a moment and bring them up your legs so that you don't have any constriction. So grabbing the front of your shins, the front of your ankles. Now you could, if you want to protect your knees, and this is a little deep for you, then you could pull those toes towards your shins. Breathing. Inhaling. Wow. Those legs are heavy. They continually are coming down. Now you could take the thumbs, put them into the balls of the feet and open up your feet. So the edge, as best you can. Now some people can't open them at all, doesn't matter. Open them up. And the fingers on the outside, that would be an opportunity for a nice little massage or a nice little dig in between all those, the tops of your feet. Mine get so tired. And it's only when I go into them, I go, oh yes, I need to do this. So keep pulling those feet. Allow those knees to relax to the floor. They may not be getting to the floor, but it's like the idea. Oh, yeah, this is longer than you'd like, isn't it? That's why we do yoga together. There's no way. It would be so difficult to hold poses that we really secretly didn't like or that got into places that were difficult. So this is why we have to deeply feel these so that it's worth it. It's worth the effort. So really, on the next exhale, see how much you can let those legs go to the floor. Oh, click, click. Maybe you're hearing a click. Or maybe you're just perceiving how heavy your legs are. Come on up. We're going to go a little deeper. I'm actually going to suggest, bend your knee and remove the block if you're on a block. Bring your legs back into Baddha Konasana, but pull the flesh back. And you're going to take your hands and press the fleshy part of the inside of your knee. You're going to flex your toes so your kneecap is safe. And as much, my elbows are bent, as much as we're pressing down toward the legs towards the floor, I want your leg muscles to have a little battle and press up. So it's equal and opposite. We're trying to go for exhaustion here. Continue to do this as best you can, pressing down, but pushing your legs up. Notice all of the intensity, one side or the other, or both, or all. And then I'd like you to let go and notice that the legs just relaxed a little bit more. And then come forward best you can in your Baddha Konasana. Let your head hang. So we're still allowing the legs to do their job, being heavy. Traditionally, this would be a saddle pose. So if you know saddle pose and saddle pose is not available to you, then I'm going to first show you the modification, which is on your belly. And then I'll show the full saddle pose. If you can do saddle pose, but you need to be supported by being on your bolster, then you could perhaps do that as well. So take your hands, oh my goodness, bring your knees towards the ceiling and land your feet and just, hang there. Let those femurs, slide down. Let the weight slide down. Can you feel that? The more you feel it, the more it's happening. Oh, then come onto your bellies, and I think this would be groan worthy by this time. So we're going to do the same, or we're going to try to work on the same part of that saddle gets into, which is in the front of your thighs and your hip flexor, but we'll, oh, hello, coming down onto your bellies. Yeah. So we're going to do this modification. We're going to do one leg at a time. I'll try to give you a cue to switch. You're going to bring your left elbow underneath your left shoulder. You're going to turn around, take the thumb on the inside of your foot and fingers on the outside. And then you're going to face the front of your mat. And your foot is aiming towards the floor. And that's just aspirational. You should feel this. Okay, so if you're on your belly, then this is what you're going to do. And then we'll cue halfway so that you can switch. If you're going to try the full meal deal, your knees can be quite wide. You can pull saddle. You can pull the calf muscle out to the side. And this creates, well, it does two things. It makes sure that your calf muscle is relaxed. And then it creates some space for your knees. Now, once you get down here, you have to decide. You have to wait, and you have to think about it, and you have to get the information your body is telling you. So some days when I come and I do this, I may have done a number of other things in previous days that means that this is a little bit too tight for me to extend all this way. Other times it's easier. So today I'm going to elevate and just sit on a block. And that's going to do two things. It's going to just relieve some of the tension. I want a lot of tension in the middle of my thighs and in my hip flexors. Some people also can't do this because their ankles just say no. So if you're going to come back into saddle, you lift your hips, you tuck the tail, maybe you come back down onto your elbows. Some people can get all the way down. I can get it down tonight. I'm going to remove the block. You have to do it slowly so that you don't feel panicked. Oh, that does feel good. So when you are, for my body and my DNA and my architecture, but it doesn't feel good for everybody, so don't worry about it. Those of you on your belly, I'd like you to switch, go to the other side. So you do the version that works for your body. You don't fool around with your knees. Yeah. And if you are in full saddle, you can readjust and tuck the tail so that you have more and more room in the lumbar curve, and that you're not squishing, pinching, doing something that's not nice. For those of you who are on the floor, you could maybe even grab your elbows overhead so that you can really feel the tissues working here, or even extend your arms. Breathing, inhaling, exhaling. This is the same, why am I feeling this so good? This is the same feeling as doing a full back bend, where all the tension in the front of the body, the whole nervous system, all your organs, they get all their good spaces. They're not squished up. Your breath is beautiful. You've got plenty of space to breathe. It's a beautiful thing. And so that's the rewards of getting gradually in deeper and deeper into these poses. There is a reward at the end. Those of you who are down or elevated and leaning back, you want to come up really slowly. by the way, I just wanted to point out that my knees didn't pop up into the air. Everything is still on the ground, the shin, the top of my foot, everything is there. So I didn't sacrifice what my legs were doing in order to come back up. So come on up. Oh my goodness. Oh, we can hardly speak. We're going to go onto our tummies. Forward tummy, fake shavasana. So come up. Those of you on your tummy already, you're there. We're going to give our eyebrows and forehead a little massage. And so what you're going to do, take your elbows out to the side. You're going to start at where the can't speak, eyebrows begin. You're going to take your thumbs and you're going to let the weight of your head go into your thumbs. You don't want to do it so much that you're going to bruise. There is a little spot at the height of your eyebrows where there's a nerve that goes in there. So you want to be careful about that. But you want to, this is like acupressure for yourself. Oh, so the first thing is to just find out what good pressure is and move along your eyebrow where your natural eyebrows are. I have to say that because nothing seems very natural anymore with all the eyebrow work in the world. And as you're doing that, I'd like you to just let those tissues in your low back, let them just, let your feet do whatever they need to do. And when you get to the end of your eyebrows, I'd like you to circle your thumbs and give your temples a little massage. Oh, that feels good. Then you may have to change where your hands are, but I'd like you to see if you can't smooth out the wrinkles in your forehead. So you can do your thumbs as well. You're going to go one line, one thumb above the eyebrows, and you start in the middle, and boy, this feels good. And if you are a person who loves head massages, you will now know, or if you give head massages, you'll know now why people love them so much. I think I gave my husband a head massage for each night for 30 years when he worked. He would just say, I need a head massage. And he got one. So go all the way up to your hairline, or where your hairline would be. And take out all those wrinkles. And then one hand on top of the other, and you can put your forehead on top of that. Now I want you to feel your breath moving against the mat. So can you feel the breath moving into your rib cage and how much freedom, especially the lowest rib, has? The next pose that we're going to do is a little bit complicated, so I'd like you to watch as I go into it and explain it. This would be hard to look at and try to get in there and then look up and all that kind of stuff. So you could watch just like from here, and I can show you. And then I'll instruct it again, and you can follow. So this is a pigeon with a twist on your back. And those of you who've been in the room with me, we've done a little bit of this in our yin classes. Those of you, both of you today in the Zoomers are flow people, so you might not have done this. So you can just look. So we lie down on our backs, bring our left, I'm going to start with the left knee because it'll be easier to see. Left knee into your chest. Now flex the left foot and you put the foot, the ankle and the foot on the outside of the right thigh. And then what's going to happen here is you lift the legs towards your chest, flex your right foot, put the edge of the right foot behind your left buttock, and then you roll over so that the foot that was attached, you can see this left foot now, doesn't become unattached to the thigh, it stays there, comes over and lands on the floor. Now, for some of you, if landing on the floor is like just not possible, then you use a block for your left foot. But then you move over a little bit to the right, and if you are able to grab both feet and then allow the knee that's bent, that's going to the ceiling, to kind of flop towards the front of your mat, you are going to feel things moving. Okay, so let's start. So roll onto your back if you're still on your tummies. Bend your knees, push yourself up, come down on your back. You're going to enjoy this. Whew. This is a completely, well, I consider it a really interesting twist because it isolates and goes right into the areas of interest. Yes. So our knees are bent. Bend that left knee into your chest, flex your left foot. And then the ankle and the foot go on the outside of your right thigh. Now notice what's happening in the pelvis already. Now bring both legs towards your chest, flex your right foot. It's just a little bit of a lift. And then put the edge of your right foot behind your left buttock and allow the left foot to fall over to the long side of your mat. Now I had to lift and make sure the buttocks weren't in the way, the flesh wasn't in the way. Dig your elbows in and move your body a little longer and a little bit over to the right, and then see if you can't grab some aspect of those legs with your hands. So our whole body ends up trying to be straight, and then you're going to allow the left knee to fall. This is difficult, to fall over to the front of your mat. Oh, I'm feeling that. You may have to rearrange your buttocks again so that you can get a better idea of this. This is a good one. Now, being the curious yogis you are, and if you've never done this pose, really, really watch what happens when we go to the other side, because the other side will tell you so many more interesting things. Bring your knees into your chest. Oh, hug them. You're on your spine now. Hug them. You might be feeling quite a lot. And then let your legs go up to the ceiling. And then bend your knees, soles of feet on the floor again. Bring the right knee into your chest, flex your right foot. And then bring the ankle and the foot on the outside. I'm just playing with my transmitter that has fallen again. That's okay. On the outside of the left leg. Now, bring both legs into your chest, flex your left foot, and then bring the edge of the left foot behind your right buttock and then fall over to the left. So your left buttock is on the floor. I'm trying hard to bring my right buttock, but you know, it naturally just lifts. Right foot is on the floor when we take a moment. Dig your elbows in, move your body over to the left, and then grab with your left hand your right ankle and your right hand your left ankle, and then allow that right knee to fall a little more evenly towards the front of the mat. And as you do that, you may have to lift and move the flesh a little bit, move your shoulders a little bit, and then watch. Watch the weight of that femur. Find a different location. Find another tendon that's short. Find some connective tissue that doesn't have any space. Nice. And then rolling onto your spine. Oh, bring your legs, oh, all the way up to the ceiling. Whoa. And then feel that fascia talking to you. And then bend your knees and then keep your head on the floor but roll around a little bit, massaging, just cooling out a little bit. So whatever was an intense feeling gets to be, gets to cool out, gets to zen out. It doesn't have to be so loud in your brain or in your body. Then roll over to whatever side you'd like. Push yourself up to seated. Push yourself up to seated. Hope you can still see me. And get your music organized for your Shavasana. So whatever that beautiful piece of music that you really enjoy, whatever that is, do that. And since this had a lot to do with feelings, then you could take your block and have it, yeah, I know that we're having a little bit of Wi-Fi Zoom problems. So just do your best, Zoomers. We're getting into Shavasana, the good spots. So just elevate. If you want to do an elevated starfish, that would be great. Palms open to the ceiling. And this sequence was about feeling deeply, and it's likely even now as we enter Shavasana, you are feeling things very deep in your body. I want you to really talk back to those feelings with beautiful breath. And at the end of your exhale, you sigh, groan, moan, and comfort those body parts. Tell them that they did a great job, that they really can let go, that this is the time for the rest. This is the time for integrating how you're feeling, the breath, the space. And it's also a time when you can really give your brain a chance to do nothing, to have glimpses of doing nothing. This is blessed time in your week, so use it 100% to let go. Taking a big breath, keep your eyes closed. Begin wiggling just your fingers so you feel them individually. Coming back into your room, and then let them go. And let's just move the right toes. So you try to feel them individually, even if they're in a stocking or sock. And then you let that go. And then the left toes. And then you let those go. If you elevated your pelvis with a block, bend your knees, land your feet on the floor, and then press the feet into the floor gently. Just slide the block out of the way and allow your legs to extend, roots of toes together. You can grab your elbows or extend your arm bones up and overhead. We'll practice breath retention, so take a big inhale, hold it, relax your jaw, sip up a little more air. And then on an exhale, sigh, groan, moan. Let everything flop open. Just take a moment. And then bring one knee and the other knee into your chest. Curl your back into a tight little ball. Oh, and hug, hug, hug. Hug like you mean it. Flex your feet. And then allow your head to come back down to the ground. And then roll over to whatever side works for you. It can be the right or the left. And you can use your block as a pillow or your arm. And then feel your whole body react to gravity. Really feel it. This whole practice was about feeling deeply, doing some simple poses, and noticing. Use your fingertips. Push yourself up to seated. Let's do a grounding breath together. Cross your legs and then recross them. Bring your hands into the middle of your chest. Fingers really wide. Oh yes, rub your legs so you can feel them. And then bring your hands into the middle of your chest. Take a big inhale. Hold that cool air in your warm body. Let it imagine the air is swirling around, picking up heat. And then humble your brain to your heart as you exhale warm air past your fingers through your nose. This is the perfect time in our practice to think of those things we're grateful for. So many things. Thank you so much, Zoomers and YouTubers, for joining me. It means the world to me that you're taking the time for yourself. Namaste.